It's Henry the computer guy, and you're welcome to our lesson number 19. And having talked about how we can handle and maintain some of the ICT tools, that brings us to some of the terms we actually use during that process. For example, we have what we call the computer servicing, we have what we call the computer repair, we have what we call the maintenance. What is actually the difference that we have among all these three items that we have? So whenever you're actually maintaining ICT tools, you'll actually hear someone talking about servicing a computer, repairing a computer, maintenance of a computer. So what do they actually mean? We're going to look at what they actually mean. So they're telling us that computer servicing is the caring for a computer to preserve it in a good working condition and to prevent damage. It's like you're a human being. Let's say you have bought a bicycle. Can you use the bicycle for over a year without, let's say, taking it to the garage? For you to be able to maintain these computers or ICT tools in a good working condition, you have to give extra care to them. Handle them with care. So that's why you have to service them. For example, your computer, why do you take 2 to 3 or 4 years when you're using the same operating system? You have not installed any antivirus on a computer? Do you expect the computer to work normally? Remember, when you're using a computer, it will get what we call viruses. So in that effect, if it is not having an antivirus software, it cannot be able to fight the viruses that come with the removable or external devices that you attach to your computer. So the process of all the caring for a computer to preserve it in that good working condition is what we call computer servicing. For example, it's dirty. Why don't you clean the computer to remove the dust from it? You're specifically servicing that computer to maintain it in a good working condition or to preserve it in a good working condition. That is what we call computer servicing. Or someone can as well say that repair is the restoring of a computer to an acceptable condition by removing and then replacing or mending of damaged parts. That means that the computer, you've been using it, then all of a sudden, let's say it breaks down or one of the components stops working. Remember, we say that if you don't have or if you have not undergone extra training on how to repair a computer, please don't open it. Take it to someone who has undergone training on how to repair that component. So if you don't have any knowledge about the repair, don't repair anything. So if anything, let's say, breaks down, you can take it for repair. And at times, those things cannot be repaired. So that means that you have to buy something new that you put it there. Remove and replace that damaged part into your computer. So that's what we call the repair. That process of restoring a computer to an acceptable condition. You either remove it and replace it with another one, or you actually fix it. That is what we call the computer repair. For example, you're using your phone, but all of a sudden it breaks down. You have to take it to the technician. The technician will check it and will tell you that it has this problem. It needs this. Let's put in this. Then you pay. If it needs replacing the entire item, they will have to buy a new one and replace it with another one. Or if it can be repaired, then it can as well be fixed. That is what we call computer servicing and repair. They're telling us that to keep computers in their good working condition, it is always important to have a cleaning routine at least once in a month. Create time for your computer or device and clean it. At least you say once in a month I'm going to be, let's say, scanning for viruses. Let's say in 2 weeks I'm going to be scanning for viruses. I'm going to defragment my computer. can do anything. Let's say put a specific amount of time on how you can fix or check on your computers, let's say, working. So they are telling us that you should at least it is always important to have a cleaning routine. Get time, blow your computer to remove the dust from it. It will always be maintained in a good working condition. Now they are telling us that therefore, computer maintenance is the practice of keeping computers in a good state of repair. For example, updating of the operating system. I've told you cannot use the operating system for 4 years. You installed Windows XP. You have used the Windows XP for 4 years without changing it. So you should always update, because whenever you update a software, there's some, for example, security and other items which are always fixed. You can unplug. For example, you're using a laptop, unplug it to avoid overcharging. Let's say you're using a laptop, but you charge it from morning to evening. Why do you leave it in power? When it gets full, the battery gets full, unplug it, then you overcome that problem of overcharging it. Another one, run regular antivirus scans. Because remember, we always use external devices. For example, flash disks, external hard disks. You always attach them to your computer, but you don't have an antivirus. How do you expect the computer to fight that virus? So always scan your computer to see whether it has viruses. If it has them, fix them or delete them. Update the password of your computer. Why do you use a password? The same password for over 2 years. What if someone notices that it's the same password you always use? Then your information is not going to be now private. Some vital information is going to be tampered with. You always have to update or change the password. Clean the keyboard and case or the system case. Keyboards always or at times get stuck. When you press a key on a keyboard, it gets stuck. That means that it is having a lot of dust inside there. You can as well use a brush and remove the dust which is inside the buttons. And lastly, you can as well keep backing up your data. Because remember, I told you, never rely on a computer. At times, viruses affect them. You might lose all the data that you're having on your computer. So what you should do, always you have to keep a copy aside. That is what we call a backup. In case the other one gets destroyed, you have another one you can replace. Then continue with our work. Let's continue. So let's look at some of the computer laboratory safety and maintenance tools and their functions as they are summarized below. Now, let's look at what we call the dust blower. What do we use a dust blower for? Remember, there are some hard to reach areas or parts in a system unit or case. But the computer is really having a lot of dust. What are you going to do? Or at times you cannot clean the system unit as let's say using a cloth. So you need something that can flush out the dust from the system unit. So we need what we call a dust blower. And they're telling us that this is a tool that we can use to remove dust from the computer and computer devices. For example, you have a keyboard. You can at least use it to flush out the dust that is actually stuck in them. Then you keep the computer working or in a good working condition. That is how it actually looks like. Because there are some parts we cannot always reach with our hands, but we can flush out the dust from the component using a dust blower. And you have seen that one in your computer labs. We have an air conditioner. Remember, computers produce a lot of heat. And remember, there are always many in the computer lab. So they will all be producing heat. And that heat is always retained in the computer lab. That's why we always need what we call an air conditioner to either help us to cool the computers. And they're telling us that they are used to monitor and maintain the temperature, air distribution, and humidity in the computer laboratory. And at times, if you're not having what we call the air conditioner, you have to make the ventilation fine. Open the windows such that the heat that is produced by the machines and even those people who are always inside can be let out of the ventilators or the windows. Don't always use computers in the computer lab when it is just closed. So people can even suffocate from there. So what you have to do, open all the windows to let the air out. So, and that's how they look like. We continue. They're telling us that we have what we call a UPS, which is the uninterruptible power supply. What is it used for? Remember, we always connect it between our computer and the main socket to supply power to our computer. And remember, it is always battery powered. Whenever power goes off, it gives us some time that we can save our work or shut down the computer normally. So they are telling us that it is used, it provides a constant current supply of about 45 minutes in case power goes off to enable us save the work or shut down the computer normally. And that is how it looks like. You connect it to the main socket, then you connect your computers to the UPS. It is the uninterruptible power supply. It gives us that time. Power's gone off, but you want to save the work. Let's refer to it and see how it is in the diagram there. So this is what we call the UPS. You have the main socket here, you have your computer set here, then we connect our computer to what we call the uninterruptible power supply. Inside the power supply, inside the UPS, there is a battery. It keeps power. So it is always charged when power is on, and when power goes off, it keeps providing power to our computer. It will let us save our work and even shut down our computer in a normal way, such that we don't lose our information we have been working upon. That is what we call the UPS. Another one is what we call the fire extinguisher. But remember, it has to be gaseous, not powdered, because powder is like dust. So whenever you use it in the computer lab and spray it to all the computers, so what do you expect? Remember, we said we need a dust blower, so we don't need dust. So if you're having a fire extinguisher which is powdered, so it will again be destroying our computers. So we need that one over gas. So to enable us to fight or stop any fire outbreak, remember, we always use power in the computer lab. So you never know. A problem can happen anytime, and you need to stop or fight that fire. You need what we call a fire extinguisher. So it can help you to stop or fight that fire outbreak. We continue. We have what we call a power stabilizer. And this one is used to maintain power at required voltages. Remember, some of us are in areas where power is always too much. It increases itself or reduces at times. So if you're having a component you've connected there, at times they are going to be damaged. So we need what we call a stabilizer. We connect it to our computers such that it maintains the power at the voltages that we always want. Let's say you want 240 volts, the computer is going to use 240 volts, but it comes when it is too much, it might destroy the power supply. So what we do, we connect what we call a power stabilizer to maintain the power at our required voltages. Only that we need will be supplied to our computer. Are we together? Then we have what we call a surge protector or surge suppressor or power strip. And they're telling us that it is used to control effects of intermittent current flow to the computer. They protect your computer against random power spikes or damage. Protects computer equipment against under voltage and over voltages. This one looks like an extension. You have an extension at home. You know how it looks like. So even these ones have that element of the surge. They prevent that increase also and decrease in voltages. Over over voltages, it maintains it, then prevents our computers from having any damage. So thank you for watching. It's been Henry the Computer Guy. Hope to see you in the next video. And don't forget to share the link to your other friends who might need this. And we are going to be continuing with this in the next video. Bye-bye. I sign out.